Very good morning to all of you here. Thanks to the LIBF community to giving us an opportunity to discuss a quick insight about Saudi. The time Ashok ji has mentioned is 10 minutes. I'll try myself to condense all the information. So unlocking the opportunities in Saudi Arabia, new era of innovation, business and growth. We wanted to start off with who we are and what we do so that we could give you a context of how you can also be part of the ecosystem. So as Eram Holdings, we are present in 16 countries. We are employing over 56 nationalities globally. We have 40 plus business verticals in business units in 9 verticals. We are established in 1990s in Saudi Arabia, and we have 100 plus offices globally and over 12,000 plus employees globally. So the main verticals we are operating globally are in 9, out of which 5 in Saudi Arabia. We are in human capital management. We are one of the largest travel and tourism company. We work with over 600 plus corporate clients in this region, primarily in GCC, serving their end-to-end travel needs. Automotive dealerships are in India. We have partnered with Mahindra & Mahindra. Manufacturing research and development. To give you a quick insight, we were the first ones to localize power electronics manufacturing in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia 10 years back, and we are the first made in Saudi brand, powered by Indian brains, now competing with the global majors. And thankfully, it's all because of the ecosystem and helping us to grow and expand to the rest of the world. We've recently incorporated an R&D center in Bangalore, incorporating the latest semiconductor technologies, which help to support the requirements of Saudi Arabia. So adoption of tech is of primary importance in Saudi Arabia, so we've been as part of that also. Healthcare services, we own 2 primary healthcare clinics, and also we are active in supporting the remote area clinics for clients like Saudi Aramco on their offshore project sites, and consolidating the different activities under the industrial support services, primarily equipment rental, contracting. There is also third-party inspection. Real estate and investments are in India, training and skill development. We've collaborated with the National Skill Development Council, again, to employ people in real-time jobs, because what happens majority of the time, we've seen that there is a skill gap, and how do you make them employable? So that's been our vision, and we've been successful in helping a lot of people get jobs after they graduate from our institute. And a little bit of activities in IT as well. So what did we achieve in Saudi? So when we started off with 2 verticals, but then now we have over 15 plus investment licenses. And we established, as I mentioned to you, the first made in Saudi brand, and we have expanded a manufacturing base in 10,000 square meter, serving all the clients in this region and exporting to other parts of the world. ITL World, again, was established and grown as a homegrown travel company. We were the first foreign investment license holder to secure this, and we are right now serving with all the major clients, irrespective of industries. And what happens is, companies who would like to come to Saudi Arabia are often a bit confused on how to venture into the market. So we've been lucky enough to work with some of the global major companies like NL Group. They're the 2nd largest utility company in the world. When they wanted to visit Saudi Arabia, we supported them right from beginning in terms of liaising with the clients, and we had an actual joint venture company in terms of meeting the smart meter projects in Saudi Arabia. Right now, the 2nd biggest market, I would say the biggest market in the world is in India, 200 million smart meters, tremendous potential. And recent establishment is with MVN Industrial Solution. It's again an MSC group company. I'm sure all of you are aware of MSC. We have collaborated with them for 5-party logistics. And the medical center, which I discussed about, and power electronics. So why Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? When you look at the statistics, 13% of the global trade passes through Red Sea, and access to rest of the world in less than 8 hours of flight time. So when you look at it, I know the chairs are hiding a bit on some of the key business indicators. I would tell you, someone is interested in mining, there's 1.3 trillion worth of opportunities and untapped reserves. And let's say you're interested in petrochemical. $100 billion worth of investment is planned by Aramco for the next 10 years. And let's say you're interested in arts, tourism, entertainment investments. $64 billion is what is planned. Healthcare, $224 billion is what is planned in the next 5 years in the public and private sectors. and I know there is someone discussing about logistics. I'm not going to get in deep. 150 billion is the transport and logistics investments expected by 2030. So all of you are going to tell me, you've got these fancy statistics. How do we validate that? And how do we work, right? So again, a little bit of statistics, and I'll get to how do we work part. So how do Saudi Arabia stand as we speak as of March 2025? The real GDP increased by 1.3% in 2024. This is due to an increase in non-oil activities by 4.3% and the government activities by 2.6%. The unemployment rate reached 7% compared to 7.8% in Q3 2024, which is reaching the Saudi Vision 2030 target. So which means they are able to generate more jobs because of the projects, and real projects are happening there, and a lot of people are getting employed. And the total unemployment rate is 3.5% as of Q4 2024 compared to 3.7 in Q3 2024. So here comes the interesting part. How many foreign companies are there as we speak? In Q4 2024, they had close to 4,500 companies registered in Saudi Arabia. This is just 2024 Q4, which is amounting to 14,000 new business licenses being issued in Saudi Arabia last year alone. So you're seeing the interest from rest of the world, and why not people from India? Why don't we be part of the ecosystem? So how do you be part of the ecosystem? I'm not sure many of you are aware of it. Saudi Arabia always allows 100% foreign ownership in majority of the sectors. There are selected sectors which they have restricted for security reasons, but majority of the sectors which LIBF community are present, you can establish 100% business under your own entity. You can open as a branch, LLC, or a joint stock company, whichever the structure prefers for you. So I'm ready to invest. What's next? All right. So I'm sure all of you have heard of Atmanirbhar Bharat in India. It's a very successful localization initiative. Even it is helping us grow in India, because after we focused in Saudi, now we are looking at India as the biggest market to grow. In Saudi, whatever you do, there is something called as a localization element. So localization is how much you're sourcing the goods and develop the production chains, how much of a services you're sourcing from the local market. There is also workforce improvement, how much you are employing Saudi nationals, and the R&D and capacity building of Saudi workers. Then you would say, I'm not able to access talented staff. You'd be surprised. The Saudi nationals are very much knowledgeable, on par, and people who we communicate with, they are staying updated with what is happening in terms of technology, what is happening in any sector when you approach them. So, all right, so what's next? So they've come up with the localization program. So when we say localization program, I'm sure all of you have phones. If you're able to Google for Saudi Aramco's IKTVA program, IKTVA, you would see various opportunities published. No, I think they're. So you'd see various opportunities published. So you go to the website and you're able to see, let's say you're from an oil field services market. So just for 2024, they publish what are the areas which they're trying to target. And then what are the key drivers? And then what are the opportunities in IT? The reason I'm not delving deep into it, I'm able to only give you a snapshot, is because of the time. So I'll still tell you how you can approach them. So when you approach, so they've very clearly laid out what is their plan. This to achieve 70% localization in all their spendings. So where do they stand as we speak? The target was to achieve 70% by 2025. As we speak, there are 67% of total locally sourced. So let's say if they are spending $1 billion, they are able to source 67% locally. So what does that mean locally? There are several anchor projects, there are several local workforce development initiatives, business opportunities published. And how do you work with them? So let's say you wanted to set up a manufacturing plant. The Saudi Industrial Development Fund is able to finance up to 75% depending on the area of your manufacturing plant. They are able to give you tax incentives and exemptions, and sometimes up to 50% tax credit on Saudi nationals' payroll. and training costs for the next 10 years. There are special economic zones and industrial zones which are specialized in logistical services. Let's say if you would like to set up an export infrastructure, you could set up there. And then there is a zero input duties for localization of raw materials, machinery, and equipment. So these are some of the localization initiatives support what Saudi government is offering. It's an extract from Aramco's Iktiva page. And also for the visa and legal support in case if you need, they're helping the Ministry of Investment Saudi Arabia is the regulatory body who are supporting with various, support whatever you need to set up a company. So let's say I would like to focus on a utility space. When you look at Saudi Electricity Company, they're the largest integrated electricity provider in the MENA region. So which means there is one entity who you're working with. And when you look at the localization initiatives, close to 650 national factories and more than 7,000 local suppliers and contractors, they procure the product. And when you look at the transmission lines, 99,000 kilometers, 56 gigawatt is what they've generated. And then the smart meters, close to 11 million smart meters being rolled out, and new customers, close to 500,000 has been added. So what has that got to do with me? Again, where are they planning to go? This is where they are. Their vision for 2030 is up to 160,000 kilometers of lines, which is on the transmission, 1,650 substations. Many of you are interested in energy storage systems, so when you look at it, the target is 48 gigawatt hour batteries to be connected to the grid by 2030. And then again, the distribution targets are again on the same lines. They're trying to increase as we speak. And again, the published report. So again, there are incentives. You're interested to set up. Each of these entities have a localization enabler department who would work with you, who would handhold you, who would support you with market insights. And there is also an opportunity where you could be part of their preferred procurement list if you're able to meet the requirements. And again, there is export incentives. So if you are exporting to the rest of the world, the Saudi Exim Bank is supporting with capital. And there is localization purchase agreements, some of them going up to 5 to 8 years, and Aramco goes up to 10 years of localization. So you have guaranteed business there. So which means when you're visualizing, you have a visibility, let's say to 5 to 8 years if that product falls under the long-term procurement agreement. And then again, bulk supply agreements, financing support. All right, so heading to renewables. So as we speak, 20 gigawatt is what is being tendered annually categorizing the localization. And 26 gigawatt in different development stages, and 48 gigawatt is what is to be achieved. What are the products which are available, what they intend to localize? They would like to set up a solar inverter localization, which is a local production plant. PV modules and components, the biggest challenge is how do you compete with Chinese? Again, this is a competitiveness. If you're part of the ecosystem, there are ways how you can work with the ecosystem. And then mounting structures, and when you look at the wind products localization, you'd be surprised. They in fact localized a wind turbine in Saudi Arabia, which is in Dammam. So that is the level of localization effort which they're getting at. So there are the support structures which can be localized. So where do they stand? Again, if you look at end of 2024, close to 10 plus substations have been energized, and close to 41 gigawatt is what is already planned for 2027. And you're talking about 6.6 gigawatt already interconnected and energized as end of 2024. Companies like L&T are pretty active. There are many other opportunities because this is a paramount importance there, because it's part of the national strategy to power up the grid with renewables. Approximate generation right now is 60 gigawatt, if I'm not mistaken. So they want to replace it with renewable energy. And these are the plants which are planning to be connected. Again, heading to mining. I know someone who was interested in mining. So the exploration phase of in mining sector, they come up with new incentives because after the research, they identified there is 2.5 trillion worth of mining potential in Saudi Arabia. especially in the metallic and non-metallic space. They've categorized different regions as precious metals, base metals, shield industrial minerals and rocks, flood ballast industrial minerals, coastal plain industrial minerals. And what are they planning for the year 2025? These 50,000 kilometer exploration license area to be auctioned. Sites with commodities like gold, silver, copper, quartz, iron and tin will be offered. And again, you can work with the Ministry of Industry and Minerals. They've got exploration enablement programs, several incentives. You can communicate with them and be part of this opportunity. Anyone operating in the defense space, I'm sure you would also know that Saudi Arabia is one of the largest buyer in terms of defense procurement. So when you look at the target what they have, at close to 2023, they've achieved close to 20% as localization. And their target is to have 50% of government spending on military equipment and services by 2030. How would they achieve that? So any international contractors who are venturing to Saudi market, they have to work with the local manufacturers. So if you're ready and geared up to meet the international companies, let's say for example, you have in India, you have a manufacturing setup, you're already meeting the requirements through India, you can set up a manufacturing or a services entity here. These companies would directly work with you because you're already part of the system. Let's say you're not part of the system, it's some capability which you wanted to build. These contractors or companies are mandated to work with you to develop plans for delivering the military localization. So that's the level of support which even the companies, international companies are offering, and that's how they are able to achieve the localization. So what kind of financing options are available through the Saudi Industrial Development Fund? You have a project you would like to localize. There is project finance, there is multi-purpose loan. Let's say you would like to acquire a company, there is also acquisition finance. And then what happens is when you set up, there is often shortage of working capital because sometimes some projects you are unable to support when you set up right in the beginning because there could be large tender requirements and all of that. So short-term financial and operational expenses are all being supported. There is also supply chain financing. So I'm sure all of you are aware of the bill discounting. So there is a fintech-enabled platform working with SIDF for supply chain financing. So anyone who's interested in fintech, again, there's a big opportunity. And all of these, let's say, receivables are guaranteed by different government projects, or even majority of them are supported for government initiatives. So it's always secured, majority of the time. And then the letter of credit, and they have different programs aligned with the national priorities. So let's say, for example, you have an initiative which is under the national priorities. They have different programs to enable that. One more slide about the giga projects, but I think on the interest of time, I'm concluding. Our theme for this year was future focused 2025. One of the main reason being, we need to stay ahead of the curve. So we wanted to be part of the ecosystem. So our theme is future focused. Anyone would like to learn more about the opportunities in Saudi Arabia, I'm available to be reached here. Or let's say you would like to do your own research. You can get into websites like Invest Saudi, select your sectors, you would get to know what are the enablers. Pick up the phone, give a call to the helpline. There would be representatives assigned to support you. Let's say you're interested in healthcare. Again, connect with Ministry of Investment Saudi Arabia. They will be able to guide you for different sectors, whichever the sectors they are. So happy to be part of this LIBF forum, and thank you so much for accommodating us, and wishing you the very best, and thanks to all of you.